Okay, so welcome to Ye Old Indie Dude. This is episode number 18, I want to say. I didn't look it up beforehand. Decided that I was going to do impromptu for the end of the year without a script.
Whoa.
However, I did know what I was talking about last time, even without referencing material. Remarkable. I was talking about rights and royalties, and I was going to do a part 2, and still I might, but there are only a few details that I didn't include. I wanted to expound upon what I was talking about the performance rights organizations. First, let me welcome my special guest today. This is my son, Jace Adams. He has his own band called The Bakers. He also does quite a bit of writing. He's an excellent artist in his own right. His songwriting is outstanding.
Aww.
And his musicianship is seldom rivaled, I think, is the way I put it.
Well, listen.
And I'm not biased, I want to tell you. I am very objective. I mean, he is my son. But if his stuff was just like baloney, I would still have to say, I'm sorry, son.
Some of it's baloney anyways.
It's baloney, man. It's baloney. However, it's not. It's actually quite good. And I'm honored to be able to jam with him and also be able to hang out with him today for Ye Old Indie Dude. So we're doing our third version of Past, Present, and Future. Indie Dude, Past, Present, and Future.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't do it before Christmas, because then we could have gotten all messed up with the whole ghost thing, you know, of Christmas.
Oh yeah,
past.
You're right. See, I would have to dress up like you would have to dress up all in chains.
No, I would probably be the Scrooge guy.
I would dress up in a black robe and in a skeleton costume.
Yes. Remember that? Did you ever see the movie Scrooged with Bill Murray?
I don't think I saw the Bill Murray one, but I saw a version, like an old-timey version of it. I don't know if it was Bill Murray. I think it was the original.
Well, the old-timey would have been probably more akin to the actual story.
Oh.
This one is called Scrooged.
Oh,
it's a farcical, modernized...
Bill Murray's a comedian, I remember. Yeah.
He's a comedic actor, and I don't know if he's done other comedy, but he's one of my favorites. I think probably one of everybody's favorites. But,
yeah.
So this is the last week of 2020.
Is it really? It's crazy.
Yeah. By Friday, it's going to be January 1st. I don't know when I'll be able to get this posted.
That's preposterous.
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 This year,
absolutely.
I don't think the year is flown by whatsoever. It's been one of those. Well, I say one of those. You can't compare it to anything else. It's been a laborious year, to say the least. But what I was talking, let me just finish up what I was talking about real quick, and then we'll continue on as far as, okay. I was talking about the two different performance rights organizations in the United States. There's more around the world, also more in the United States. But the two main ones that are used are ASCAP and BMI. ASCAP stands for the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Performers. BMI, Broadcasts, Media, I really forget. I forget. But these things are easily searchable, and there's histories involved in each, and you can make your decisions on the basis of what you see benefits of in each of those. However, you should choose and register your material. The other thing, well, I'm probably going to touch up on this next time, because I don't want to talk about this so much with this episode, but I did want to at least follow up a little bit, is there's a lot of different ways you can go about using your music if you're a musician in order to try and make money. This is not so much about rights and royalties, except for, yeah, I guess it is royalties, if you want to get your music involved with synchronization licensing, otherwise known as sync licensing. And then and you should watch the first episode.
And you should too.
Right.
If you haven't.
A lot of people have already, which I'm very grateful for. Hey, so welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. If you haven't had a chance to check out some more of the music that's on here, also I'll put a link in the description for the bakers. They have a link tree going on, which is fairly cool. So you can.
It's got all the links, it's got all the social medias, and I'd say our Instagram's the best because we stay more active on there, just because it's a more accessible platform for everybody. Twitter, you know, you got your weirdness on there, you got your weirdness on every platform, but really Instagram is my favorite for some reason, just because I've had a presence there for quite some time. Just as a personal account, I don't know, it's the easy user interface makes it
I find it interesting that everyone has their favorites, and then each different platform becomes categorized as being something as time evolves. Like Facebook has changed into like still like I think a necessary function of the social media realm, but it's different than when, like, say 10 years ago.
Yeah, only old people use Facebook now.
See, that's the common.
I just post to Facebook through Instagram. See, that makes it a lot easier. Then I don't have to interact with any of the political figures on Facebook. Everyone's a political figure on Facebook.
I think everything on any platform is political if you
look hard enough. Yeah.
No, it's not a matter of looking. It's there anyway. I'd say my favorite platform is Twitter.
Yeah.
It wasn't always the case. But there's just so much cool things going on and so many cool people.
Yeah, you do got a lot of influential people on Twitter. Like Elon Musk posts a lot on Twitter. Kanye posts a lot on Twitter. You got good musicians posting a lot, like this guy. You got, I think Paul McCartney posts pretty frequently on Twitter, right?
Paul McCartney's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he released his third album.
Yes.
That was a.
I heard a few tracks off of that. Just not everything, though.
Just a little over a week ago. I think I've listened to all of the tracks now. However, what I would like to do is to go into the link and listen to the album in its entirety, the way the tracks were laid out.
Yeah.
Because I think the way I listened to it was on the basis of that interview that he did with Chris Rock. He was describing his own album, and he described that song called "Seize the Day" as Beatley. Now, as a Beatles head, and who that loves Paul McCartney is not a Beatles head, maybe, then he basically was saying, well, "Seize the Day" is getting a little bit Beatley. And so I wanted to listen to that first. Yeah. So I'm listening to that first. Now,
those of us who are so nostalgic that we like literally can't stop listening to the Beatles even now, we gotta go, oh, Beatley. You know,
like, there's a Beatle doing Beatley things. Oh my goodness, gotta listen.
Never heard of him.
And of course his album was #1. Congratulations. And
that's good news.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's a great person.
Probably sets the bar, I would say, as to musicianship, professionalism, production.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily
quality, songwriting,
more songwriting than musicianship.
He did every single instrument on that last album, as far as.
But in terms of actually playing an instrument, he can't read sheet music.
Wait a moment. He's written sheet music.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's paid people to do it for him.
Oh. I thought
the Beatles never wrote down any of their stuff.
No, I know originally that was the case, but I thought that over time that had changed.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
The man has been in the industry since the 50s, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
He's got to have learned a few of the sticks and.
I watched one of these. I watched a video yesterday. It was someone, I don't know who it was. It was someone popular in the production field. He said that the Beatles were the worst musicians he's ever heard.
And
I thought, and it brought it into perspective for me, because some people don't actually think that they're good musicians, and I'm like, listen, there is a certain amount of musicianship that you have to understand that they aren't a part of. Like, if you look at big jazz musicians, big band people, they can look at any sheet music and they can play it right away, maybe with some accidentals, but they still got like the understanding of quavers, semiquavers, hemi-semiquavers, hemi-semi-deciquavers, you know what I'm saying?
Look, here's the deal, man. In the very beginning of music distribution, it's gone from, remember, back when I was a kid, it was records.
Yeah.
Those round plastic discs. Way before that, there was these cylinders that they played music on, really old timey music, when those things made big horns on the players, when that stuff first came out. Where was I going with that?
Gramophones. I think you were just like contrasting like how musicians used to be musically versus...
hey, so the dissemination of music, how music was sold to musicians wasn't so much. It was a different way of viewing music and distribution of music. So the music writer, the singer songwriter kind of person, would create a score and then publish and distribute that score, and people could buy that and perform it. And therefore, what they considered musicians sort of interchangeable because they're all doing the score.
Right.
Nowadays is interpretation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on, so it's artistic within its own right. So you're creating, well, kind of something else to a degree, while using the same framework of what has already been written. I wonder about this, and that was the way it began. So really, when you went out and got music, if you wanted to play something for somebody, you'd have to go and buy the sheet music in order to learn it and perform it.
Or like the tabs or something like that. And the Beatles, I'm not saying that they're bad musicians. I totally disagree with that guy.
Oh yeah.
And
oh my God, I was just that's
but I'm just I was just bringing it up because there are better musicians and there are people who understand theory better than the Beatles, but the Beatles have an intrinsic understanding.
Yes, like I've seen musicians where you have like a musical
mastermind, flashy players,
technical.
And stuff like
well, not just the flashy players. Say like Jimmy Page,
Jimi
Hendrix. Well, yeah, he was definitely outstanding, you know. But I'm talking about more like, you know, John McLaughlin and Al Di Meola and Paco de Lucia. These are individual guitarists that are phenomenal, and there are many others.
Right, but they'll never write anything like Paul McCartney. You know what I'm saying? Like lyric wise, probably. Right?
I don't know, but I would say guitar technicality, you can just get mesmerized in their expertise of the instrument.
Same thing with drum technicality.
Yes.
If I've shown you any Zach Hill videos before, Zach Hill playing for Hella, the math rock group, or Zach Hill playing for Waves, or even playing on his solo stuff, he has such intricate understandings of like just the notes that go in between notes and notes that double on top of other notes and notes that you can play triples of and like quadruplets, and he knows like how to change time signatures almost seamlessly, and he does that with a fellow guitarist in the band Hella. I forget the guy's name. I think it's Spencer Heim. Yeah, I think that's it. He plays with Spencer Heim, and the guy's just there looking at Zach's playing like this. He's like looking at it. He's like studying it, and then he's doing guitar stuff where he's tapping and playing a bunch of different strings. He sounds like at least two different guitar players playing together because of how like intricate his tapping is and like just like everything. I don't know.
Proficiency with the instruments. So you can't beat that. But
both of them fill out the entire spectrum of sound. Like if you start the video and you'll just hear like blocks and blocks of walls of sound just flying at you, and it's hard to enjoy. Like it's kind of hard at first because it's so jarring, but that's what I like about it.
What I've come to the conclusion of is that it's not necessarily about it's about taste.
Yeah.
Where I was going with that, I think that, you know, the technical proficiency, I think that anything can be entertaining, mastery, or the creative aspect, nuance. That's what the songwriter has, and message.
And it's a combination of nuance and familiarity, I think, that brings beauty from the music. Because if you take something that you're just completely unfamiliar with and you're throwing it at you, at first you're going to be like, well, what the heck is this? Demonetized zone. Well, what the heck is this? And then you're just like,
are we censored?
I don't know. Have you been cursing on this show?
I don't think so.
Okay, well you can just edit that part
out.
I said heck afterwards, so it should be all right.
Okay.
But you like if you're throwing something at your face that's completely unfamiliar, like Hella's music, like those guys are very unfamiliar to the average rock listener, to the average any general genre of music that people are into, pop. They sound nothing like that. And it's like you're kind of going in with hang on, people consider this as music?
Well, I've been getting very experimental in the things that I've been listening to because of the connections that I've been making through Twitter and through various other places. I've just been connecting with musicians, and I tell you, there is some really good stuff out there.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are doing some really outstanding things. I might, I will do an episode where I'm going to be referencing some other artists and also other channels.
Oh, you definitely should. You definitely should. What if you did like stuff where you reviewed other people's music just from an experience standpoint? Because you've listened to like your fair share of music, right?
Of course.
Have you ever heard of Anthony Fantano?
That sounds familiar.
He's just a very popular music reviewer.
Oh,
that's
I see.
That's his channel. His channel
Music review.
he was reviewing the thing that the guy said about the Beatles. I forget what the guy's name. I never even heard of him. He's just salty.
You have to go about it very specifically in order to be able to do it while maintaining rights. Because you don't.
100%.
As far as
he doesn't play the music in the video.
Okay.
He just gives his opinions on it and
see.
stuff like that.
He
rates it out of 10. Is his big thing. He gives his albums like
sort of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. Well, to bring it back to the nuance versus familiarity argument and the Beatlesy
you want to talk about Paul some more?
Of Paul's song. I feel like the only
Which
Beatles
one? Seize the Day.
Yeah, Seize the Day. I feel like the only Beatley aspect of that song was the drums, just because they were so Ringo-y. Like Ringo-y. Yeah.
Ringo-ish?
Ringo.
Ringo-like.
Ringo-esque, yeah.
Ringo-esque, yeah.
They were very, simple, but they contained nuance in there too. Like the stuff like the I don't care to be wrong, but the boom, that whole thing.
Well, I mean, yes, I do. But with that little descending part that repeats here and there, that reminds me of Beatliness.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe the Beatles' solo careers. Like you said, it sounded like John a little bit, didn't you?
Well, John liked to use that kind of progression quite a bit. I like the whole thing. I forget the numbering, but
where it's like when the cold days, and it's just like a kick.
That's
snare,
what I'm talking about.
Kick, snare, and then the away, and it goes into like the whole like a bunch of different transitory.
That took me a minute to get used to actually the first time I heard it. So I have to re-examine it, but there's parts of that that get caught in my head.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm sorry, it's the long-tailed winter bird. That's the one that just sends me over the roof. I've mentioned that I think on every single platform that's out there. It's like
it is very jammy. He uses like a good rhythm guitar take mixed with a good lead guitar take, and then there's some good drums that come in later.
He uses the guitar percussively, and then of course I've always been a big fan of that jangly. The jangly E's and the walk downs and it's just very artsy, and also
it kind of reminds me of the Creeper Groove a little bit.
It reminds me of stuff. Yeah, I've written that in comments too. That it reminds me of my own stuff that I've been styling for a long time.
Yeah, and if you and Chris just sat down in a room for like a night, I'm sure you guys could have come up with that as well. We
may very well have. Just the things that we do, no, but
imagine you just have like a recording from years ago where you actually do the song and then you sue Paul McCartney.
No. There are similarities in things that I've done in times past. Is all that. Because I really have an affinity for that kind of writing.
Yeah.
Not in every single thing, because obviously after a while it would get kind of repetitious. So just my kids complained about that song.
Just a little bit. Just after hearing it like 100, not 100 times, after hearing it like 4 times in a row, you're kind of like, well, it is just this part again, but with Paul's vocals layered on,
or actually being done with a trumpet, or
do ya?
That's awesome. That reminds me of the Beatles more than Seize the Day.
But it's like the no words. Beatles only had one song with no words. Or like just I think he's using his vocals more percussively there as like an instrument type thing,
Yes, that's which makes it more interesting as well, because it's different than his norm.
Yeah.
But still very.
I have songs where I'm just going, you know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of Enya songs that do that too. Just the vocals being used as an instrument,
Yeah.
which is very cool.
I would just, back in the old day when I didn't know how harmonies work, I still kind of don't, I would just play the notes on the piano and then mimic them with my voice individually and then stack them on top of each other, and that's what I do.
I always
And,
figure out harmonies as I go, and they're not always true harmonies. Sometimes
Right,
they'll
sometimes.
slide into
Diminished harmonies, seventh harmonies,
exactly.
sus harmonies. I love those though.
Right.
They're more complex than just regular triad harmonies or even seventh harmonies sometimes.
I
If
agree.
you do it intuitively, it can be something more nuanced.
Yes, and that makes it
But
more
it can
original.
also just sound bad, I found.
That's true too. I've had that happen before, where I've been like, oh well,
It's
mathematically,
like I thought that sounded good, but
mathematically
maybe
it seems
together
to
they
work.
don't. Your ears are actually a lot better at doing math than you are. That's why harmonies work, is because it's frequencies that make ratios.
I love that. I love
It's,
the vibrations. So everyone's really good at math naturally. We just don't realize it.
Well, people without, like, some people just aren't, some people, they think music sounds good because everyone else says it sounds good, but it could just be like that they don't know what sounds good. Some people just don't.
Well,
it's all about like whether your ear has that natural ability to do the math. If you have like a and then you have a that's like a 1 and then a 3, so it's a 1/3. Watch Adam Neely's video on that.
there's a reference for us. We can probably
Adam Neely is so great with music theory, music like explaining different modes and keys and the emotions that are supposed to come from them.
Oh, I see. That's very interesting.
Adam Neely,
Hello.
he's a jazz bassist. He plays
A jazz bassist.
He plays for many, many different bands. He has a band called Sungazer. He plays with a bunch of different bands though.
Oh.
And he lives in New York. He has this one video that I was telling you about. I think it's where it was like 10 gigs in a weekend or something like that.
Oh, right. You did tell me about that.
It was so absurd to watch because
that
he was
seems
just
insane. 10.
And the drummers he plays with are just absolutely beautiful. They're beautiful. They can hold perfect rhythm. They can metric modulate, change from like a 3/4 to a 4/4 seamlessly. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know about that because while I was talking about the ears being able to do math, he actually explains the science behind it and stuff like that.
That's neat.
Like the actual ratios, and he illustrates it very well for you in diagrams and stuff like that. And it's just really intuitive. Like he helps you understand stuff. And he has these react videos where he reacts to his listeners' songs that they send him, and
cool.
He lets them know how they could improve, what they did right, what they did wrong, stuff. And he gets serious feedback from that because obviously it's just his opinion and that's not the objective truth.
Right.
But
he's declaring
he is
himself
an objectively skilled musician. So,
okay.
just like you have
but
objective
you can't
experience.
declare yourself Mozart unto everyone else being Salieri.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is, he has been in New York for like 10 years or something crazy like that, being a jazz musician, and he went to
obviously
Berkeley College for music. So he has all of that knowledge and like
skill
in influence in his.
Hey, that's some stuff. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, people that are doing that.
I've learned a fair share about theory just from watching his videos. One thing I wanted to touch upon before
Please
we
subscribe
end.
to my channel. I didn't even say so beforehand, and I usually do. I'll probably ask anyway. But if you haven't had a chance to yet, and I do appreciate everyone who has subscribed, it's very awesome. I'm very grateful for it.
You will not regret doing so.
Thanks, bud.
But also subscribe to the Bakers YouTube channel. If you don't want to miss, we have a quick jam sesh coming up on the YouTube channel as soon as I can get that uploaded. It's just me and Austin, but we ran it through the processing unit. Some plugins called one that I've been working with called the Wolf Compressor. It's like a drum compressor made by the band Wolfpack. They're a great funk band.
What? Dude, I thought we were keeping it clean.
Nah, but but yeah, check out the Bakers YouTube channel. There should be a new jam on there. The audio quality should be beautiful, so should the camera quality. So make sure you subscribe and click that freaking bell icon, bro.
And
Or-
why you
or
keep on pointing at
sis.
people? I never do that. I never do. I'm not like,
You!
No. Hey, and Happy New Year, everyone. Let's just hope 2021 is something a lot better. For goodness sakes.
Or at least a lot more boring.
A lot more boring.
Did you know that I hope you live in interesting times used to be an insult?
Oh, it was well, I heard it was a curse.
A curse, yeah. Yeah. It's been an interesting time this year. But hopefully
Into
we'll be bored as hell next year.
the latter half of 2021, hopefully, is going to be outstanding. I'm hoping for the best.
I think
As
with the
we all
vaccine
are.
coming out, there should be
Well,
some hope on the horizon, right?
It depends upon, how widely distributed it becomes and how well it works.
Right. I have some qualms about the, well, I don't want to get political here. This is a music podcast, but I have some qualms about the corporations not being able to be held liable for any problems that the vaccine causes. That's just
Yeah, well, they've also been put under a great deal of pressure to produce something at record speed, which I'm really grateful for, and the technology too. Let's just hope that it will be for the betterment of mankind, and it actually is.
not for some depopulation agenda, but that might be.
And that's
That's
actually
just some crazy conspiracy, right? That can't actually be happening, right?
and that it's actually
Your lives are at risk.
and actually effective is what I was gonna say. I don't know where that came from. My goodness. I'm grateful that you stopped by this long end of the year. Ye old indie dude. Check out my merch. Man, it's after Christmas. I don't want to be pushing the merch too much, but if you're looking for a weird gift, I've got stickers, some unusual designs, music merch related stuff as well.
Or if you're thinking about Valentine's Day already, some great gifts for your babe.
That is a good idea. However, it's not even January yet, but it shall be here in a few days. And then, it'll be exciting times of 2021. The beginnings of the Roaring '20s.
I heard the Promethean movement was huge, in the chicks scene right now. They'll really like that Promethean sticker that this guy has. He started the whole movement too.
The Promethean movement. Yes.
Yeah.
Promethean Anacreon.
If you just give one of those stickers to someone that you like, they will instantly date you. Without a doubt.
It's check out the link at jeffadams.info if you'd be so kind. And that's all we got for today, I think. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.